ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be focusing on two main things today. Thing number one, we are going to try to lay some rebar down in the underground movie theater footings. And then thing number two, we need to dig a little footing spot right here. And then we also need to dig a line going from here all the way up to where Roman is, so that way we can get our septic line in. Hey everybody, you're watching Cole the Corn Star, and welcome to the 100% restoration and remodel of my great-great-grandfather's $7,000 mansion. All right, Roman, we're rock, paper, scissoring today to see who is going to be job foreman. Wait, what's this for?
I choose rebar.
Okay, you're job foreman. Woo-hoo-wee! Buenos dias, skid loader. You're a little chilly this morning, so we're gonna warm you up. Pop this bucket off, throw some forks on, then we're gonna scoop up the rebar. We have maybe 50 sticks or so we're gonna bring that down the ramp that we have right here, and then we'll try to lay down as much as we can. We don't have nearly enough. We need like 500 sticks, but we're at least going to get started with the first 50. That way we can get a little bit of a feel for our process, so when they all come in here, then maybe we can go a little bit faster and a little bit more efficiently. So rebar first, and then we're gonna have some digging.
Cole is on his way with some rebar, and we need to have the empty working area all the way throughout. So we're gonna move our job trailer out of here where we have all the tools. And then also we have piles of leaves now because we're way into the fall season and all these oak leaves are piled up in here. We'll pick them up, and as well as clean up the trench a little bit, because when I was spreading the rock, a lot of it actually went down into the trench, so we'll clean up those areas where the rock got spilled.
Buenos dias, forks! And oh hey, it looks like my dad just showed up. I believe he has a grave that he is going to go dig, so he's gonna hook up the black truck, and then he's gonna be taking the mini excavator, and he might actually be taking the skid loader. So we're gonna get scooped up to this rebar and get everything brought down there, just in case he needs the skid loader, so that way we don't have to drag these things over one at a time. And I thought we had 50, but we may have maybe 30. That doesn't quite look like 50. Very carefully. We have them balanced. It's always the hard part about carrying rebar around. You got it just a little bit off one side to the other, you tip the whole stack over. A mí me gusta todos los verduras, todas las verduras. Uh-oh, we lost a bar. You dirty dog. Dirty, dirty dog. We need to be very careful too, because these things will pinch a finger. Oh, come on. Get balanced, get balanced.
For effective cleanup of these leaves, I better go but at least find the rake. I'm not even sure if there is one, but we'll check it out. Now we have a shortcut by building these little ladders. Now we can go straight down into the hole instead of walking through the basement.
So the rebar that we have right now is 1/2-inch rebar, or number 4 rebar in rebar terms. So the number 4 actually stands for the number of 8s that are in the rebar. So 4/8 rebar, number 4 rebar, 1/2-inch. Number 5 rebar would be 5/8. Number 6 rebar would be 6/8. 7 rebar, 7/8. Number 8 rebar, 8/8. So 8/8 would be 1 inch. So on this project, we are going to be using number 4, which we currently have. We are going to have some number 6s that run perpendicularly. Those are not here yet. And then we are going to be having number 7s that are going to be running along the bottom, and then they are going to have a 90-degree bend in them, and then they are going to go vertical, because we are going to have number 7s inside of our foundation wall. And so we need to make sure that the footing is tied to the foundation wall. So we're going to be achieving that via number 7s. And we don't have the number 7s here yet either. So those are all supposed to be coming tomorrow. So we're going to take this rebar, we're going to try to bring it over to the back side, and we're going to work our way from the back over to this way. This rebar is not messing around. I've been trying to carry 5 sticks at a time. So that way I can lay down 20 feet and then move to the next 20 feet. I got 6 sticks right there. It's not that they're really that heavy. I mean, they got some weight to them. This is probably 40 pounds, maybe 10 pounds a stick here, but they're so wiggly and wobbly. They're just really kind of awkward to carry. Ugh. And you hit them on everything on the ends. I'm trying not to hit the forms. I'm trying not to hit the rock behind the forms, so that way I don't accidentally knock rock down here into the footings that we already have dug. Ugh. So on the ends, we want to be 3 inches away from the sidewall, so that way we'll have 3 inches of concrete in here, so that way we're not exposing this to the elements over time, or exposing it to the dirt and the moisture. Then we're doing the same thing on the sides too. So 3 inches away from this side.
Well, we got the rock taken care of. I had to over dig a little bit because it is inevitable that rock is gonna slough off more, therefore it's gonna fill in what we over dug, and we should be still good. So I think we're gonna help Cole now setting the rebar.
After about an hour of laying down some rebar, to my pleasant surprise, we actually got a lot more covered down here than I expected. So we are looking at doing a 5-strand bottom mat. So they're basically every 10 inches apart. And then we just need to make sure that we are maintaining our 3 inches away from the side on this side and our 3 inches away from the side on that side. And then when we overlap, we're going to be overlapping by about 3 feet. So what we have laying down right now is not permanent. We just have it sitting down on the ground. It's giving us a rough idea. We do definitely need more yet, because like right here, we don't have any. So we need to get pieces cut so that way we can have our proper overlaps. And then we are also going to have to get pieces bent for us to be able to go around all the corners. So there is a lot of 90-degree corners right here that we are going to have to bend going through. And then we are actually going to be having a second mat of this. So once we get this laid down all the way in all the areas that we've missed, then we will be coming in and setting up these little rebar chairs. And then this is going to put the rebar 2 inches off of the ground, so that way the concrete can get under it and then it can actually do its job. Because if it's sitting on the ground like this, it's not really adding any strength to the concrete. We want the concrete to be able to get under it a little bit. But once we have all these rebar chairs set up underneath everything on this bottom mat, then we are going to have to somehow figure out a way to be able to come up to about where my hand is. And then we are going to be doing this exact same thing, but up here. So we are going to be running a double mat. But since we do not have enough rebar to get that finished out, we're gonna wait for that to come. And in the meantime, we need to dig down right here, basically right underneath where this leaf is. We need to find our septic line and then dig a septic line trench coming all the way through here over to where our footing is dug. And then when we're digging that, we also need to dig a spot right here for a foundation, because we are going to have a little bit of a foundational wall here, because on top of this wall, we are going to have an I-beam that is going to run from me over to where we have that spade laying down. After doing a lot of digging, we have our trench dug where our septic line is going to go. So the white line is our septic line. We do need to cut it back a little bit, but we do not have an elbow to glue on here yet. So the only thing that is preventing us from actually being able to get this set in and honestly backfilled is that elbow. So we're gonna have to leave this open for the time being. We have it pretty close to grade. We probably need to dig down just a little bit more. good news for us, the bottom of this is actually pretty sandy, so it won't be very hard to hit grade once we end up getting that elbow. So now we need to come in here. We're going to be digging 3 feet wide. It's going to be about 8 feet long, and then we're going to dig it 18 inches deep. And this is where the footing that we still need to dig is going to go. Today is one of those days where we have the perfect temperatures, where when we are working in the sun, you get a little bit hot and sweaty. But now that this shade has settled in here a little bit, it's actually starting to cool down a little bit. I think I'm going to throw my sweatshirt back on.
Some gas or something?
No?
The dial is off or what? This here? No, it should be working.
Cord looks good to me. How's the end look?
It was just working.
I don't know, let's throw it in the dumpster. We'll get a new one.
I'll put it in my trunk. I'll throw it in town.
This honestly probably would have been ideal if we would have done this before we got wild with all the excavation work down there, but we were just wanting to get all that done, and then this kind of got put on the wayside. So here we are doing it now. We are easily getting it done, but it is just a little bit more difficult. Well, the difficult part about it is getting rid of the extra dirt. So this was not a very big area that we dug right here, but the spot that we are going to be digging, there is going to be a fair amount of dirt, and all the dirt that we are digging right here, we have to hook it over to that side. So hopefully we have enough room over there to be able to pile everything up. We do not want to fill up the footing that we already dug, so we need to be very careful. And I guess if we fill up too much over there, then we have the option of loading things up in 5-gallon buckets and carrying them up the ladder and out, or we use a mini excavator and see if we can get over to that edge lower down and see if we can maybe scoop down our new dirt pile a little bit. So we're not going to count our chickens before they hatch, so we'll figure it out when we get there. Just hopefully we have enough room to be able to put all the dirt over there. Hey Roman, Mr. Contractor Man, where are you at? We got this all done digging and then you disappear. You eating more donuts? Roman!
Taking a break.
Taking a break? What is this?
Coffee break.
Whenever you're in charge, we get nothing done. This is why.
Coffee break. What do you need? Oh, you laid your rebar. Took you about 8 hours and 15 minutes.
We got done digging, we got done laying rebar. What's next?
Well, let's spend some money. We need to measure how much exactly of Waterstop, PVC Waterstop we need, because it's, what, 10 and a change per foot, $11 a foot. We better be accurate.
So this whole Waterstop thing is a brand new concept to me. I've never actually heard of this before, but when I was visiting with the concrete engineers, they said that we wanted to do it. So what it is, we have our footing down here on the bottom. So this is the part that we're working on right now, where we are going to have our double layer of rebar inside of there. So when we get that poured, we are going to be pouring our foundation wall, which is this top part, on top of it, and there's going to be a cold joint between the two, meaning this bottom part is going to be poured first, and then once that is hard and cured, then we are going to pour the top part, so they are not actually going to be monolithically together. It's going to be 2 separate pours. And that little joint right there is an area where moisture on the outside would potentially have the chance to be able to wiggle its way in through there and then eventually work its way into the inside of the basement. But this little piece of Waterstop right here, it's a PVC type of material. When we are pouring the footing, we put half of it down in the footing and then the other half sticks up, so then when we pour our foundation wall in the future, then that concrete will encase it, so that way when water gets through, it will hit that PVC water stop, and then it will stop it. And since it has all those little teeth and stuff on it, then it won't let it work its way around. So we need to go down and measure. Oh, here, Roman's got a much better picture on his phone. You can see how it's halfway in, halfway out, and then if water comes in on this side of the concrete, it hits that, and then it won't be able to get around it. So that stuff, I guess, is like $10 a foot. So we're gonna go climb down in the underground movie theater. We need to measure a full perimeter around it, so then that way we can figure out exactly how many feet we need, and then we're not wasting a bunch of money ordering a bunch of Waterstop that we are not going to need. Huh, big jump, parkour, woo! Oh, we got the tape measure all dirty. Which end do you want?
Dumb end. Let's go 24.
How low can you go?
Let's go 11 here. 10.
Okay.
14.
14. Oh, this is going to be a little bit painful. I guess a little bit better than $10 a foot than we thought, but we have to get 4 of them. So 50 foot apiece, 4 of them, 200 feet. I tell you what, getting that rebar laid down in the bottom really makes the job site feel like it is coming along. We are just a couple days away from being able to pour concrete. I think we will be able to get the rebar laid in 2 days, or the rebar that is not here yet. And hopefully that rebar shows up. I tried calling to get a status on it, but they must close at 4 o'clock, and I called just after. So if that does not come tomorrow, well, we don't really have anything that we can do down here. I am going to run to the store to pick up 2 45-degree elbows for that septic line that comes out. I also need to pick up an intercoupler for that tile line. We accidentally nicked it with the mini excavator, so we need to put in a splice there. And then I'm going to get some plumbing supplies for down in the basement, because we have some floor drains down here that we need to get vented out. So right now these are not vented at all, so we need to get some vent lines hooked up to those. So, oh yes, we also need to get a table saw. Now I want to get this stuff because just in case the rebar does not show up, then we will be able to work on the stuff in the basement. We would like to work on the outside things while the outside conditions are nice, but I guess if we don't have materials here, we don't have materials here, and we're gonna work on what we can work on. I guess my inexperience right here is really shining through with just not having materials on hand ahead of time like we would like to, but I guess that's part of the learning experience with things. We live, we learn, and then for future stuff, we'll be sure to make sure that we are ordering things well ahead next time. And where could we be going? No other than the one and only, they're playing it right now, Menards. So we already got some glue for our PVC fittings. We are out of that. I picked up some rodent guards because I think I want to change up how we are going to be having the discharge for our tile lines that run down into the drainage ditch. And then we got our intercoupler. Now this store that I came to is different from the store that I normally go to. We need to pick up that table saw, and so the town we normally go to doesn't have a place that has the table saw that I'm looking for. So this store, it is 100% backwards than the store that I'm used to. So it's really weird going in here right now, because in the store I'm used to, all this stuff is on this side, and then everything on this side of the store in the store I'm used to is on that side of the store. So I'm a little tripped out right now, but I think we're gonna find everything. Two of these, 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Menard's trip is now over. We are going to pick up the table saw. Not going to lie, I went into the store with a particular table saw that I was looking for. They did not have particular table saw, and so I ended up having to substitute one out. So I have an off-brand. I own nothing from this brand, but we are not using a table saw 100 times a day, every day for 10 years, so I think we'll be okay. If not, I guess we made a bad call. But hey, you live and you learn.
is Sarah.
Hey, Sarah, this is Cole. I called you last week ordering some rebar, and I was just wondering if I could get a status on that.
Probably get it down there Monday. He has one delivery. I can get it down there Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
That works for you.
If we could do Monday, that would be phenomenal. Well, that's not convenient. It was supposed to come today. I talked to that exact lady a week ago, and she said it was going to take a week. And so we'd be looking at this Thursday, and then she says they don't have it all. I understand things go on behind the scenes, but this is also a really big company, and like really big company. So I feel like, I don't know, some miscommunication happened somewhere, but today is Thursday, so we're gonna have to find something to do Friday, because the stuff I got last night at the store, we have enough to keep us busy for today, but then tomorrow, we're gonna have to find something different, because we're not gonna have rebar, and then we'll just take Saturday, Sunday off, which is fine, and then hopefully it comes first thing in the morning on Monday, so that way we can get right to it and start laying some rebar, because by the end of next week we would like to be fully ready to be pouring concrete, and we can't be ready for concrete until we get the rebar. So with all of the drainage pipe that I ended up buying last night, what we're going to end up doing is we are going to cut our pipe somewhere in here, and then we are going to remove the drain. I actually bought 4 new drains because ours are encased in concrete, so they are pretty much done. And then we are going to get everything centered up, because right now looking at that drain and looking at this drain, at least in reference to the beam that is in the middle of the room, they're not straight with each other. So we're going to get things lined up, and then we have some new fittings that we have right here, so that way we can put a vent line going over into that corner for this drain. We're going to be doing the exact same thing for that drain. Then we're going to get a vent line installed for that drain, and then over in the utility room we are going to do the exact same thing. So before we get to that, we're actually going to take care of some of this outside stuff first. So I just remembered this morning that I knew we had a septic line going from here over that way, but there's also going to be a bathroom located over there, not on the underground movie theater level, but on the ground level. So for us to be able to get that gray water from that bathroom over to here, well, it actually has to go through here, we need to put in a 4-inch Y. Luckily we do have an extra one laying over there in that corner, but then we are going to have to dig right through here. Luckily that rock is placed just far enough over where I think we are going to be able to dig right through there, and we need to dig another trench just like what we have right here, so that way when we actually get our concrete foundation wall right here, we'll make a conduit through. Actually, no, we won't even have to do that. We'll come in right inside the foundation wall, and then we'll just stub it straight up. So then in the future, when we get that bathroom built over there, we'll be able to take a septic line right here where my hand is, and then drop it into the stack line, and then that will shoot everything that way over into the septic tank.
After trying this little trench for 10 times, shaving it off, checking the grade, shaving it off, checking the grade, I think, what is it, time number 10 or 11, we're gonna check it for one more time. And we're good. We're down to the most precision part of this job, and it's to make the cut in the right spot. We have our fitting laid where it needs to be, according to the pipe that's already laying to the grade. Now we're gonna have to make a mark in the right spot once again and cut it as square as we can. So that's why Cole is gonna make this cut.
All right, like this, right there.
Yep, just
I make 2 crooked cuts like 4 months ago. Roman just won't let it go. So now every time we want to make a straight cut, hey Cole, do you want to come do it?
get over it. I even forgot about this. I just didn't want to take responsibility and being made fun of, whatever, however you say it.
Oh, so just make fun of me. I get it.
No,
the golden rule here, Roman.
No, I what do you call it? I kicked the can off off of me. I'm not taking responsibility.
That is legitimately an arm wrestling strap though,
Yeah,
right?
it is. It's for tonight's practice. But we brought this so we can make our line square to the pipe.
Oh, I thought you were gonna arm wrestle the pipe.
So the wider the strap, the better, the more accurate you're gonna be. So basically when you wrap this around the pipe, it's gonna give you like the square hug, square cinch around the pipe. So you wrap this around, and then you can basically draw your line around your strap now.
Where'd you learn how to do this?
Barrica Construction. I know, Devin, you're probably not watching, but that time we actually took it one step further.
Then you arm wrestled after you strapped it?
It was rainy. It was the caution wide tape, so it's much easier to square it off. And it was rainy, so nasty, you don't want to hold it. I'm like, let's just use the paint. You tape around and paint your edge, and now you have permanent reference line. So we're not gonna paint it, but like I said, I wish we had wider strap, but this is still better than guessing.
Well done, Roman, well done.
Well, it's done. Now that our piece is cut, the next step would be taking the grinder and getting this sharp edge a little bit beveled off, so we have a better inserting into our fitting, because as you can see, there's a little like 45-degree flange. So if we make it the same thing on this pipe, we'll be able to gain another 1/4 inch of connection on our fitting. So first we're gonna glue these two pieces together. I already have marks going, so we have a right angle. So we're gonna apply glue and primer and glue them together. I already forgot where all our stuff is. Here's the primer, and there is the glue that Cole just bought yesterday, or I would say last night.
We are now at a little bit of a crossroads of sorts on what we are going to do next. So the original plan was to use all the materials that I just got at the store to be able to put in venting for all of the floor drains. We have been looking up some different code stuff on venting when it comes to floor drains. Now, I have been advised by people that we need venting. I've also been advised by people that we could get away with not having it. So Roman and I took to the code book, and we are trying to find code on what it says about venting. Now, it seems like code is pretty regional. So Iowa has a different code than Minnesota, different than Illinois, different than Ireland. So it's not like one size fits all, but what we have kind of discovered, at least according to the Minnesota code book, I believe is what Roman found. If we are located with our drain 15 feet from a vented line, which our vented line is right here, and we are 10 feet away from it, then we do not need to have it vented. So if that's the case, we don't need to vent here. This one is only like 5 feet away. This one is like 2 feet away right here. And then this one over in this room, that one's only like 3 feet away. So if that's the case, we do not need to vent any of these, which means the materials that I got, we do not need to use. So I would like to do a little bit more research into this, just because once we get everything buried under concrete, we are not going to be able to fix it. But we're gonna have to do that later because we have arm wrestling practice and Roman's eating ice cream.
Yep. And note that 25 feet is for emergency floor drains, not every floor drain. What distinguishes the two is the a regular drain is taking the water and sewer all the time. The emergency drain is for emergency purposes only. That's why it has a little bit of grace in the code. So it makes sense to me, and ice cream is good too.
When we go to this practice, I want to lay down just a couple of little bit of ground rules and arm wrestling etiquette. So you're going to see two people arm wrestling, and in most cases, one guy is going to be significantly stronger than the other. But when you see them, it's going to look like it's pretty even, because the person who's better, stronger, the senior puller, they are the one holding, and then the junior person, the weaker person, is the one doing the work. So the strong guy just sits there and holds, so it looks like it's not really going anywhere and like it's even strength, but in reality, more than likely, one guy is much, much stronger than the other. So that being said, I think I am the most junior puller there. I am the weakest one out of everybody. At least last time I went to arm wrestling practice, I was definitely the weakest one there. Maybe like one match with somebody's offhand, which I'm left-handed, and I pull their left hand and that's their offhand, and maybe that's significantly weaker. If I can get in the right position, maybe win one match. So we'll see. There may be somebody new there today that is more equivalent to my strength, where we may have back and forth matches. But the most senior person there is Roman. Roman, he weighs the same as me, but he doesn't come out and say this, but I think it was 2015, I believe. I think he won Worlds. So that's like out of everybody in the world. And he is the top guy in the 154-pound weight class in the United States. So he will go against people 100 pounds heavier than him and just absolutely obliterate them. So there is a couple people there tonight that, after working with Roman long enough, he will definitely start to get tired and he gets a good workout in. So you're going to see that. But just kind of prefacing everything here before we actually get started. Now, before we actually go to arm wrestling practice, I am going to run into the store quick. The table saw that I got yesterday, Roman got talking about it a little bit more, and we decided to change our minds, so we actually took that back, and we are going to get a different one. Before we go find the table saws, for whatever reason, they still have all these blades literally on clearance. These things are like normally, how much, Roman?
$250 around, but I've been looking for them.
No, what have they normally been?
Oh, I mean,
like $10 a blade, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they're like $1.89. So we picked up another handful. I got 5 of each one. Oh, you're a man on a mission. You already got it out.
I've been waiting for your idea.
I walked around the corner and I walked into this aisle. I'm like, hey, that guy looks a lot like Roman. Oh, it is Roman. Let's see. We got 12 checkout lanes and there's one open.
2. 8 and 10. We're here.
What are you looking forward to? What's the objective today?
Beat everyone up and have a good workout, which Ben is 280 pounds. He provides a good workout. What's your objective?
Have fun.
Oh, you will have fun. We're already warmed up. Ben doesn't need warm up, please.
Yeah. Good thing Roman's got the weight advantage here.
Oh, I checked my weight. 163.8.
163.8.
You're saying 165 over.
That's before bathroom.
281.6.
281.6.
Before the bathroom.
You know, I get stronger on the camera.
It's 15% power for Roman.
Do it again. Everywhere. Have a little bit. Yeah, just need a little bit.
Arm wrestling practice went really good. I used a strap for the first time, and my right thumb is basically completely numb, and the feeling has kind of barely came back. Definitely a weird feeling. My hands are super pumped up with blood right now. Like, they feel extremely full, like especially my thumb, like that muscle. You can see all the veins and stuff in there. It's just, arm wrestling is a completely different thing than like any other form of training that I really experienced. So it feels kind of cool, but yeah, my hands are probably going to be pretty sore tomorrow. When we were pulling in the garage, it also just started to randomly rain. So we actually just got smacked with a lightning strike here right when I got home, and it killed the power for a second. And I was walking right by the breaker box when that happened, and just went pop, and then just dark, and then boom. And oh man, my adrenaline was pumping, I tell you what. Well, how do you feel, Roman?
Feel good.
Sore?
No, tomorrow if there is any of that, it will be coming tomorrow.
Running the strap, I must have pinched a nerve in my thumb because it still feels like it's asleep. So hopefully that comes back. Roman says that it will. I interpreted that's what you said anyway.
Eventually, I mean, it might take a year, you never know.
But anyway, super good day. We got a lot of stuff done. It was really nice to just be able to go at a little bit more relaxed pace today and actually be able to have a little fun. But with that being said, we are going to call it a day. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.